This is Rogers TV. This program is brought to you by Rogers Xfinity, connecting you to more of what you love. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
We're back in Sauble Beach for another Tuesday night classic car show. I'm here with Peter. Peter, thanks for coming out.
Hey, no problem.
We're back, Peter.
Yes,
another
we are.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
This seems to be one of the biggest Tuesdays of the year. How's the show been going so far this year?
Well, it's 5:30 and we are packed. So it's probably the busiest. Even the beach is busy tonight. So
That's awesome.
You know, we closed the road at 4:45 and we had cars already parked at 4:45. So
They were ready to go. So everyone's really
excited.
excited for today.
Yeah, yeah.
And how's it been this year so far?
Been good. We've had,
Yeah?
I don't think we've had anything in the way of rainouts per se and stuff like that. We've
That's
always had
good.
something going on. So it's been good. Yeah. Lots of cars, lots of people, pedestrians walking around and looking at the cars. And
That's perfect.
it's
That's
been
what we
good,
want.
yeah. Your patio's being full.
The patios
So
are full,
so
the
that's
beach is
good.
full, the
Yeah.
street's full, and there's beautiful cars everywhere.
Sure.
So last time we spoke, you had your Rebel out.
Yeah.
And today you have this beautiful Bronco behind us. Why don't you tell us a little bit about this? Because I understand this is the Bronco, the first made Bronco right here.
Okay, it's one of the first, yeah. The production for Broncos started in 1966. This one was built in October of 1965. So it's one of the earliest ones built. And back then they made three different types. They made a U13, a U14, and a U15. U13 is this one, which is
Okay.
called a open-bodied roadster. Not sold in Canada. These were marketed in the southern states, and they were sold just like this. No doors, no roof, and stuff
So
like
you
that.
can't, it doesn't come with door roof. You don't have that as an option.
You could have, and what really happened in dealers had a hard time selling the U13s. They weren't all that popular. They made a whole lot in 66, less in 67, and only a couple hundred in 68. And that
Right.
was it for the U13s. They were only made for 3 years, and they only made 5,000.
Oh, wow.
So what happened with a lot of them is dealers had a hard time selling them. So in order to sell them, they put doors and roofs on them.
Okay.
And when we started the restoration on this, it's a 66 built in 65. It actually had 67 doors on it.
Oh, wow.
So it tells the story that this one sat on the lot. The dealer put doors and a roof on it to sell it.
To try and sell it,
But
yeah.
when we did the restoration and discovered that it was a U13, the limited production Roadster, we kept it as stock as possible.
As stock as possible. Well, it looks amazing. It looks so clean and well taken care of. How long have you had this guy for?
I've had it about 30 years.
Holy.
Okay.
How long has it been on the road, though?
Well, this is it, right? It sat neglected in the back corner of the garage for about 25 years, and then it was a
Okay.
COVID project. And with the help of a couple of local guys here, we did a body-off restoration on it. It's not. It was redone to be able to drive to cruise nights and enjoy. Type
Right.
thing,
Yeah.
and stuff like
Well,
that.
let's give us a quick tour of this car, because this is one of my favorites I've seen. I love every time you bring it out. So let's start with the colors. This is such a cool color. Was this the factory color, or is this something
Yes.
you put on?
Yeah. No, this is called Arcadian Blue, and that's the color that the truck was when it was brand new.
Okay.
And then the white trim is Wimbledon white.
yeah.
And you'll see some Mustangs painted the same color. The interior should actually be a silver, but when we started looking at doing the interior, we think that the off-white matches the Wimbledon white trim much better.
Yeah, it looks very cool.
So,
kind of that
yeah.
cream color with the nice baby blue.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
And this being
amazing.
an early Bronco, it's actually classified as a bud-bodied Bronco in early production. So in '65, Ford had the tooling up and running for the drivetrain and for the frame and stuff like that, but not for the bodies. So they
Right.
actually sourced the bodies to another company called Bud. Bud was
Okay.
involved in the prototypes. And if you look at this, it's classified as a bud-bodied Bronco, which makes it a little bit rarer.
Right.
And there's telltale signs on it that make it different to the other Broncos.
So
with regards
point
to,
a couple of those out to us.
Yeah, what can I point out? There's a rain gutter just in behind the brake pedals that's different. The Bronco emblem is specific to 1966. The other
Okay.
ones look the same, but how they're attached to the body is different. The rear view mirror is on the window frame, not on the window glass. So that's a little bit different. There's on the newer ones, there's some bracing in here on the fenders. This one does not have any of the bracing.
Okay.
And one of the big things that make it a bud-bodied Bronco is any other Bronco you look at, 66 through 77, there's an indent here and a Ford emblem. And the bud-bodied Broncos did not have the Ford emblem here.
Right.
And that, so yeah, so that's a few of the things that are a little bit different or unique to it. The windshield frame is specific to 66. The vacuum wipers and the holes that the vacuum wipers go through are unique to the 66.
Yeah.
And that, so yeah, there's a few things.
It's pretty, this thing is so cool. It fits in perfectly on the beach. I feel like we can load up a cooler with some picnic stuff and go down the street somewhere.
It certainly catches a crowd when I bring it down.
It's a beautiful car. Yeah. It's an absolute beautiful car. Can we pop the hood and take a look inside a little bit?
When we discovered that it was a U13, we made the decision to keep it as stock as possible.
Yeah.
So this is the original drivetrain. All we did with the motor was take it apart and re-gasket it, but we didn't do anything in the way of a major rebuild. It's got the original clutch in it, original transmission.
It's so nice and clean. This is pride of ownership right here.
Yeah.
This
Oh
is
yeah,
really
absolutely.
Cool.
I'm an AMC guy, but I'm also a Ford Bronco guy.
Yeah.
So
this is awesome. Well, this was a great way to kick off the night.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much for giving us the tour.
For sure.
And let's hit the road for more sun, sand, and classic cars.
And a good sunset tonight too, probably.
I hope so.
There you go.
So.
Alrighty, guys.
All right, now we're here with Brad and his beast of a Camaro behind us. Brad, thanks for bringing this out tonight. So tell me, what's the make and model of this Camaro right here?
It's a 210 Camaro.
2010 Camaro.
2010.
But it's not just any Camaro. This thing is a monster. How long have you had it?
5 years.
5 years? How long has it been on the road for?
Just since last fall, so only about 6 months.
Okay. And did you pretty much do the whole thing? You can see the inside under the hood is all...
It's been done from front to back. I didn't do it all myself. It's some pretty high-tech stuff that I can only dream about wanting to do it myself.
That's awesome. Well, before we get under the hood, I'd love to take a little walk around the car here and you can show us what we're looking at.
Okay.
We'll start with the hood itself. So is this a carbon fiber hood here?
Actually, it's fiberglass hood with a carbon fiber overlay.
Okay. And does that helps with the weight of the car? It makes
weight
it much
of the car,
lighter?
and it allows me, with the intake manifold on the motor, it gives me clearance for the intake manifold, so I got to have that raised hood.
Right. And then there's a space here, kind of. Is there a reason for that?
No, most cars have that. They may be screened off. I just had to remove it because of the intake manifold. Again, it took up so much room that I had to get rid of some stuff like that.
Yeah, nice. Well, I'm checking out the tires. So clearly you use this car to race.
No, I don't race it. It's just a hot rod.
Okay.
And if I do take it to the track, it's just to run it down a short track and see what we do. Then come back and make some changes to it and try it once again, and then maybe make some more changes to it.
Okay. So just looking at the tires here. So you got your back tires are way bigger than your front tires.
Right.
So why are the front tires so much narrow?
Well, they call these skinnies because they're less rolling resistance, so the car will actually go quicker.
Okay.
The car is built to be quick, not fast.
Right.
And the back tires, obviously, they're wide. You almost have to get down to see it from the ground to see how wide they are. But that's so that it's safer that the tires don't spin as much.
Right.
They hook up and go. That's what you want. A lot of cars, they have a lot of horsepower. They're just spinning their tires all the time, and that's really dangerous.
Right. You got less control.
Exactly.
And you're not going.
Exactly.
So, well, let's check out this interior here. So you got the race seats in here, and then in the back seat you got some kind of a...
That's a fire extinguisher.
Fire extinguisher.
Fire extinguisher, yeah.
Just well,
you know, anything that's aftermarket is suspect for being as good as what the factory builds. So fire extinguisher is good. What's really special about this interior, which is a little different, is the transmission. You see all the levers with the transmission.
Yeah, why don't you walk us through that? That's pretty
That's
cool.
That's called a Lenco transmission. It has a clutch to get the car moving, and then you don't have to use the clutch to shift the to find different gears. You just pull on the shifter rods, and it'll go into the next gear.
So you actually don't have to use the clutch down on the floor.
No.
It's built right
Although
into that.
it's a pretty sudden shift when you do that without the clutch. So if
Yeah.
you're just driving on the street, you use the clutch. But if you want
Right.
to make it go really quick, you just pull the gears without having to clutch it.
No way. That's cool. And then you have all these little switches in the middle there.
Yeah, one's for the fuel pump, one's for to open the headers, one is for what is the other one for? Oh, a two-step. So that a two-step is for drag racing. So you can rev the motor up to a certain RPM.
Yeah.
You don't have to look at the tachometer. You just dump the clutch and away you go, and the car takes over from that.
Okay. And then what's the smoke button do?
That's because these tires like to hook up so much that if I put water on them,
Yeah.
they'll spin in the water and get really hot,
Okay.
and then they stick to the asphalt more.
Oh. And then the music button?
That opens the headers.
That opens the headers?
That opens the headers.
That's awesome. All right, well, speaking of opening the headers, we got to
Yes.
check what's under this hood here.
You want to open? You want me to start it now?
Let's look at the hood and then we'll
hood,
start it
yeah.
after. Holy smokes. This thing is a monster.
Well, you know, with the modern cars today, I have so much horsepower. This is only about 625 to maybe 640 horse. It hasn't been dynoed yet.
That's
A
it,
lot of
just
these
a
cars today are
625.
800 horsepower, you know, 750 horsepower.
That's crazy. So this intake here, this is super unique looking.
Well, it was custom made because usually they come down from the side, but I wanted it on the front. It's to go with this intake manifold.
Right.
I have to bring the air in from another angle.
From another angle. Well, this thing looks awesome. I need to hear it. I need to know what it sounds like. We start it up.
Yeah, we could do that. Sure.
I'm gonna scare some kids today. All right, don't be shy, Brad. Let's hear this thing. You hear that? Come on, give her. Whew!
It lives.
That was wild. I feel like you took it easy there too, a little bit, eh?
You'd be surprised. Some people don't like to hear that.
I know.
Yeah, I know.
I know. I do though. That's crazy. So this thing is a beast. I mean, how could you not take this on the track?
Well, you know, it's a hot rod, and I built it because I just like the looks of it.
Yeah.
And I built it mainly for the looks, not to make it really fast or anything like that. There's a package that you build, and this is the way I wanted it to look. So I started with the wheels and tires, and had the car sit. It's all about wheels, stance, and sound. That's the
Okay.
three important things to me: wheels, stance, and sound.
Okay.
And how fast it is secondary.
And secondary, yeah.
Yeah.
So what got you into this? Like, why did you?
Because when I was a kid, I had this '67 that looked identical to
this?
Black with a black vinyl top, and I've always liked them. And this looks like the old first generation Camaros.
Yeah.
The new Camaros look totally different, but this 2010 to 14 model looks like the old ones.
The old ones, yeah. And then, so is this the first car that you kind of put together like this, or have you had other
I've had other cars.
cars, like
Yeah.
race cars and
Not
and
race
hot
cars, just
rods and
street
stuff?
cars.
Street
Yeah,
cars?
Yeah, muscle cars they call it.
Right, muscle
Right,
cars,
right.
yeah. Well, this thing is super unique and amazing. And thanks for taking it out to the show
Oh,
today.
not an issue.
Like, this thing's so cool.
Appreciate your interest.
Yeah. And it sounds,
Like it should.
yeah, exactly. That's the thing. What was it? Sound,
Wheel,
wheel-
stance, and sound.
wheel, stance, and sound. Well, it has all three.
Not necessarily in that order.
Exactly. Well, it has all three of those. Plus, I'm sure it's got the speed too.
Yeah.
And we appreciate you bringing it out
All
for
right,
people
thanks,
who
Jed.
enjoy it.
Yep.
Thank you so much. This thing's incredible. Let's get back down the street and check out some more cars. And now we're with Dennis. Dennis, thanks for coming out and bringing your beautiful Maverick. Thank you. Tonight. We appreciate that. So, make, model, year of this car.
It's 1971 Ford Maverick Grabber.
Ford Maverick Grabber.
Yes.
So why do they put Grabber in there?
Well, it was just a decal package with the hood and the striping on it. It only was, that hood was only for 2 years, and then it was just pinstripes.
Pinstripes after?
They cut it back.
These here, these scoops on the hood
eye
here?
drops, the eye drops in the hood.
Eye drops? So was that the 70 and 71 or the 71, 72?
71, 72.
Look at this thing. This
I've done
is...
extension work on the motor.
You've
It's
done some
original block.
Original block.
302 block with high performance heads, roller rockers, roller cam.
So that's all that you've added onto it?
650 carburetor, aluminum rad. It's got power steering. It's the serpentine belts on it. It's got an electric power brake unit on it for power brakes.
And that's all?
That's all added on. It's 2-inch stainless steel exhaust.
Oh yeah.
Mufflers.
Look at this thing.
The Krager rims are new. I bought them and put them on.
These here?
Yeah. The interior is done.
Pop it open. Let's take a look inside here.
Yeah, sure. It's got an overdrive 4-speed transmission out of an LTD in it that I put in.
Oh wow.
For cruising.
For cruising?
Well, I'll give you an extra gear.
Yeah. That's wild. What's the horsepower on this thing then?
Over 400.
Over 400?
Yeah.
All right. What do you say we turn it on?
All right.
See what it sounds like, Dennis. There it is. Look at this thing go. This thing's fun. It's probably pretty fun to drive, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I like driving it.
Yeah?
It's nice driving. It's a very nice car to drive.
Yeah. No, this thing, just like seeing the whole engine go in there, everything's just so smooth and clean. And
Yep.
That's awesome. Well, thanks a lot, Dennis.
No,
this
no
thing's
problem.
awesome. We
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Good.
And
well, thanks for asking me to help.
well, this
There you
thing's
go.
beautiful. I mean,
Yeah,
how
thank
can we
you.
not get this on camera?
Good. Thank you.
You know?
All right.
All right, let's go check out one more here. And here we are with Steve with this beautiful ride we got behind us. Steve, thanks for coming out today.
Sure thing, yeah.
And so tell me, what's the make, model, year of this beauty behind
This is
us?
a 72 Oldsmobile Cutlass. It's dressed up as a W29 edition. In 1972, GM offered a 442 appearance package.
Okay, so what was that entail?
$372 at the time. It gave the stripe and the 442 logos.
And the 442 on the side?
and the trim on the back of the trunk.
We'll check that out in
Yeah.
a minute. So that's what the that's the
it came with
442
a-
package?
Yeah, it came with a 350 HO Oldsmobile engine. It's not a small block Chev. It's got a little longer stroke, and it's these engines can actually be probably built up to get up to 500 cubes.
Okay.
Yeah, because they're pretty strong.
So is that's the original engine that came
Yeah.
with this car?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I did front disc brakes on it instead of the drums,
Okay.
and I took the engine all out, as you can see, and did the top end of the engine. The bottom was still pretty good, so I didn't.
In good shape, so you left that as it is, yeah. So you
This
just took
car
the top
originally
off.
was a gold color.
Okay, and what color was the stripe?
The stripe is gold. They're all gold. Even if the car was white, it would be a gold stripe.
Right. So the original color of the car was gold?
Yeah.
And it had a gold stripe with the gold paint?
No, I put it on after.
Oh, okay, after you
Yeah,
put it black.
Yeah.
Right on. How long have you had this for?
This will be my 5th year.
5th year?
Yeah, it took a year to do the car, and it came out pretty good. The pans had no rust. Owned by a fellow 35 years.
Oh,
he had
wow.
the car down in Kitchener-Waterloo
Okay.
in a garage, and I was able to find it and bring it home. And
How'd you find it? What's the story behind that?
just a Tim Hortons tip.
A Tim Hortons
Yeah,
tip.
some guy knew I was looking for a convertible, and I wanted a Pontiac or an Oldsmobile.
Yeah.
And along came this car here, and after I ripped the carpets out of it to get a good look at it, it was all solid.
Yeah, good shape.
It had been Z-barred ahead of time,
Okay.
and the Z-bar was really hard to get off.
Right.
Like even the soda blast to get it off, but that's what saved the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this thing's really cool. How about the interior? Did you redo the interior at all?
No, that's
all
why it
original
came
and-
right from GM.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's in beautiful shape.
Yeah. One thing different there, the steering wheel is 442 version.
Okay. That's awesome. I love this interior. The dash is all like that wood
Yeah.
style
Yeah.
in there.
The gauges are aftermarket, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, the interior is all original.
It's all original interior. This thing's so cool.
Yeah.
That's too cool. So it has the convertible top on it.
Yeah. It's not the original one,
Not the original
but
one?
it was the one that the guy put on in the late 80s.
Okay.
And it was a tan color. And this one here, I was able to dye it black.
So it's the
instead
actual
of replace it.
instead of replacing it, just dyed it black,
Yeah.
eh? Oh, that's
Yeah,
neat.
and it came out really, really outstanding.
Well, you couldn't even tell. It's
Yeah.
like it was made black. Can we turn it on and hear what it sounds like?
Yeah, I'm hoping it'll start. Because in true fashion, the batteries don't last. I had a hard time to get it going, but I'll get her going.
We'll get it going here. We might have to jump them today. There it is.
Yeah.
Look at that thing. Wow. Well, that's a smooth running car right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Thanks so much. That
Yeah, you
was
bet.
that was a treat. I haven't.
Yeah.
You don't bring this car up to the show very often, do you?
This is the first time this year.
Yeah.
I try to do Southampton sometimes,
Yeah.
but I like coming here.
It's got the way better backdrop.
Well,
and view
everything,
here.
yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's
no.
packed.
And I like the way we can park here, and you can get out if you want to get out, eh? So,
Yeah.
so
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much.
okay,
It's a treat to have this car out
Yeah.
tonight,
sure.
and we look forward to seeing more of it in the
Yeah,
weeks to come.
I'll come back next Tuesday.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Let's go see the Solas Choice. All right, it's the end of the night Tuesday, and that means we're picking Solas Choice, where we pick a car of the night, and Solas presents them with a 6-pack of Solas Brew Lager. And tonight we're with Jack. Jack, thanks for coming out tonight. You are the winner of tonight.
That's great.
And before you get the beer, you got to give us a tour of this beauty you have behind us. What's the making, model, and year of this car here?
A 69 Charger, and I've had it for about 5 years.
Yeah? And I hear there's a pretty good story about how you picked this thing up.
I used to have a Charger back in '70. I
Okay. had
had a 69 Charger, like as my third car, and but I'm a dairy farmer, and so I've been pretty busy most of my life. I still am a dairy farmer, and so I had been looking for a Charger for about 15, 20 years.
Okay.
And about 15 years ago, a guy told me he knew where there was a Charger, and he gave me a phone number and a name, and I put it in my wallet, and I left it there for about 12 years.
For 12 years?
Yeah, I left it there, and so about 5, 6 years ago, I thought, I gotta phone this number. So I called the fellow, and I says, I hear you got a Charger. He says,
Yeah,
yeah.
I heard 12 years ago you had a Charger.
And I says, he says, yeah, and I got a bunch of tractors too. I says, oh, what kind of tractors you got? Because I didn't want him to, think I just wanted the Charger. Anyway, so he says, yeah, you can come on over and look at it. So I went there and I looked at a bunch of tractors. He says, I suppose you want to look at the Charger too? I says, yeah. And so I said, do you want to sell it? He said, well, you asked my wife here. She threw some crazy number out. I says, well,
Yeah.
you're not ready to sell it yet, obviously. I says, well, you take my name and number. And he says, sure. So he took my name and number, and it was a COVID year, and I thought I always kept in contact with him for about a couple of years.
Yeah, just to be, you never know.
Yeah. So then COVID hit. I thought, well, I can't go see him. And then in June, I read his obituary.
Oh no.
I thought, oh, so the car's in the estate. That's the end of the car.
Yeah.
And 2 months later, his son-in-law called me up. He says, "You still interested in that Charger?" I goes, "Yeah." He says, "Well, Dad was dying in the hospital in April," and I said to him, the son-in-law had said, "What are we gonna do about that car?" He says, "Well, there's a guy who wanted that car. I got his name and number, and I put it behind his name and number on a piece of paper. It's behind the bread box in the kitchen. Give that guy a call. This is how much you ask for it. If he makes you a counter offer of X number of dollars, you take it." So I went there, and I says, "Hi, I'm Jack," and the guy says, "COVID, we better not." I says, "Well, whatever." So we talked for a while, and he told me what he wanted. I made him a counter offer. He says, "You got yourself a deal."
And then shook hands after that.
Hands.
Better not, we better will.
So that's how I got the car. So.
Holy, so it's been a long time in the making that you were gonna pick this thing up.
And it needed a tail light. That's what it needed for safety.
That's it?
It was like this. It didn't have the tires and stuff, and I put disc brakes in the front and exhaust system and stuff like that. So, but yeah, this is I'm the third owner.
The third owner of this.
Yeah.
So the guy that you got it from, was he driving it often?
He was 92 years old.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
So it was just sitting there then, basically.
So he would take it to the Paisley Fair, or the Paisley Show.
Yeah.
He'd taken it to Scone once in a while. Just these small time fairs and stuff like that.
Just for that, yeah. And then you were able to scoop it up.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so cool. This reminds me of the Dukes of Hazzard.
Well, that's why it's such a popular car. Like, everybody just loves it. Eh?
It's so cool. Well, that's an incredible story. That's like,
and you know what the color is?
A decade and a half of searching. That's so cool.
It's Alice Chalmers orange. So it's not Hemi orange.
Really?
Alice Chalmers tractor. That's the paint that's on that.
So that's what. Now it didn't come with that paint originally.
Yeah. No. It was yellow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was a yellow car.
That's too cool.
Yeah. So, but basically it's the way I bought it.
It's just so cool. It's such a nice car.
Yeah.
It's like a very nostalgic car. Probably one of the more popular muscle cars.
Yeah, I know.
Of its time.
Yeah. Well, it's just fun driving it because we took the grandsons out last year and they said, "Grandpa, how come everybody's waving and yelling at us and saying, oh, wow," and so we just have fun with it. We just come here in Southampton. That's I don't really drive it much or anything. I'm still working.
Awesome.
So.
Yeah. Well, it's a beautiful car. Thank you so much, Jack.
Okay. Thanks.
This thing is awesome. Here's the beer.
Thank you.
Congratulations. I hope you enjoy them.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Well,
and that's it.
We'll see you.
That's the show for tonight. Yeah. Come on by to Solas anytime.
You like that black Camaro?
Is that yours as well?
No, that's my neighbor's.
That's your neighbor's? That thing is a monster, right? Holy
that
smokes.
thing is nuts.
You hear that in the morning, probably.
Oh, yeah. Like, you must have snuck out of here because...
Yeah, well, he didn't sneak. It was pretty loud going out.
Oh, I didn't hear it. I was down at the other end. But yeah, that's crazy.
That's a crazy one.
car.
Anyways, thank you so much.
Okay, thanks.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
And that's a wrap on another Classic Car Show. We'll see you next week for more sun, sand, and classic cars.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.
With Rogers TV, you can cheer on the home team from the comfort of your living room. We'll head to the rink, the field, the court, or the pitch, so you don't have to. Tune in and cheer on your local amateur athletes on Rogers TV.
Growing up, I was surrounded by violence. I had the drive to pursue education, but I didn't have the means. I couldn't afford to because the child welfare system is not enough to support youth who want to go